Hey, good evening, and welcome to the number 2 edition. This is the second episode of the RoofCON Revolution, and I'm super thrilled to be here with my buddy Hunter Ballew. I'm gonna get Hunter in here, and we're gonna talk a little bit about some really exciting stuff that's going on. Specifically, I guess today we're gonna talk about streamlining your business in the midst of the coronavirus. So, Hunter, what's up, my man?
What up, my brother?
Good to
You
have
hanging
you,
out
man.
today?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
man.
was glad to get on the podcast with you earlier. We're going to do three today, man. State of the industry, RoofCon Revolution, and the Revolt.
I know, dude. Tuesdays are a rough day.
Yeah, it's
A
nonstop.
lot going on.
I feel
So,
like
but
my
it's cool though.
Tuesdays are like Mondays.
Dude, me too a lot of times. But,
Yeah,
it's all good. I like it. I'm happy with it. So,
yeah.
I couldn't imagine any other way to spend my Tuesday.
Well,
So,
thank you, man. I appreciate that. Means a
for sure.
lot.
Yeah, dude. It's always good. I mean, we got to have you on all shows, so you got to live in the life of John today. So,
Yeah, I couldn't do it, man. I respect you for it.
it's all good, brother. So let's talk, man. We're gonna talk about streamlining your business. And a lot of contractors I'm sure are going to be watching this because that's pretty much our demographic. That's who we work with the most. And as we talk about this, dude, like, a lot has changed, I'm sure, from what we considered streamlining before. Like, what would you even consider to be streamlining 3 or 4 weeks ago, a month ago,
Right.
compared to
Yeah,
what it's going to be now?
yeah. There's probably like 1% of 1% of contractors had automation set up in their business prior to this, and maybe now 1% of contractors have automation set up inside of their business. There's still going to be a ton of guys left behind, which all that means is there's plenty of opportunity out there to set yourself apart. Um, I'm all about helping my quote unquote competitors, but at the same time, we're always looking to widen the gap, right? We just want to make it so that when we go out to a homeowner's house, we provide so much value in what we offer, from just the inspection, the report, to how we operate, the quality of product, everything we do, that we widen that gap. From the folders we give out to the documentation inside the folders, talking about Cornerstone, talking about the products, talking about our warranties. We really try to go above and beyond offering finance. And it's just not hard to do in this industry because there's so many contractors that are 10 years behind.
Well, and that's been the rule of thumb. And I was talking to someone the other day, and they were it was last week. I think it was Jim Johnson. And one of the things that we were discussing was, how many contractors actually um like how many are actually taking action through all of this, because they're going through their own learning portion and modules and stuff. And it's still funny how the 80-20 rule goes into play. 80% of contractors, and I think he did a poll and actually told us that 80% of contractors believe that business will go back to business as usual after this. Like 100% right back to the way things were before. And 20% of contractors don't believe that and are streamlining and changing up their entire business models to reflect that. Dude, I mean, um if the number's really 80-20, then really that 20%, you guys that are doing all this stuff and are making these changes, you guys are going to be so far ahead of the game come 6, 7, 8 months, 2 years from now, because of the changes you're making right now in your business.
Right. And even if it did go back to normal, why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you improve your business? Why wouldn't you make the processes easier for your sales rep, for your office, for your ops team, for your management, for your homeowners, for your subcontractors? Why wouldn't you make it all easier?
That's true, man. So talk to me, like, Hunter, you run Cornerstone day to day. You're at the Cornerstone office right now.
Yeah.
And I'll put in some stuff, but what are some of the things that you guys are really proud of when it comes to streamlining?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really proud of our hiring, how we recruit, how we hire, how we onboard, our training systems for our guys. It's something that in the last 6 months I've really been trying to do a good job of teaching to our staff, our management team, so that they can sell the vision to um, people applicants basically be able to sell the vision of Cornerstone and what we want to do in the industry and what we want for them, and to help them reach their goals, because it's hard when it comes from me. Like, it's Cornerstone is me. I am Cornerstone, right? Like, it's something I've created. I know a lot of people say like their business is their baby, but I kind of got a couple of things. So I don't really look at Cornerstone as like just my baby. Cornerstone is a tool to me to get to that next level and to help a lot of people along the way. A lot of people within our team. I love our team. And we're making a lot of transitions in the next year, putting people into manage, but because I'm focusing a lot on the tech space and the event space, doing things like this. So for me, it's automating that onboard process so we just create machines. Like right now, I could take you into AccuLinks and show you where there's been probably 4 new guys come on in the last 4 weeks, in the last month in April, that are all in that 8 to 12 at least roofs that they've sold in just a month, that didn't have any experience prior. Now, we did just get a little bit of storm activity on Saturday, but prior to that, we didn't have any hailstorm. We had some wind down in Charleston for one of our branches, had some wind up in Seneca, which was a pretty significant tornado for this area. I mean, we don't even really want to work that because of the structural. Me and you went out to Nashville and we met with Jeff Richfield and some of the other guys, and that's just not something that interests me. I don't want to deal with anything with structural. I'm not a big fan of wind, but for us, it's bringing those guys in, and we do it through Teachable. If you're familiar with Teachable.com, it's like $79 a month, something like that, I think. But look it up, Teachable.com. We create an account, put a course in there, and so they come in and there's a welcome section that talks about Cornerstone and our mission and who we are and who's who. We'll introduce them in video so they know before they ever even get started. Here's the ops manager. Here's the CFO. Here's the sales manager. Here's Hunter. Here's this person, yada, yada, yada. It goes through the welcome section. Then it jumps into the apps we use. It jumps into door-to-door training and sales training. It jumps into AccuLinks so that any question they could ever ask in AccuLinks is in the training. So if they come to me with some dumb question, I can say, hey, did you watch the training? If they say, yeah, well, obviously you didn't watch it good enough. And I tell them over and over, and I say this in the training actually, do not watch the training to get a check mark. Watch the training to understand it. I don't want you coming asking dumb questions, because as you can imagine, we're 20, 25, 30 guys now. We can't get 2 dumb questions a day from each guy, or a whole day would be filled with answering dumb questions.
And I know the amount of volume you guys are doing, and I've seen your files. I see the stuff come through Balance, and we handle quite a bit of it for you, I'm sure. But it's no joke. Like, people don't believe a lot of times. Like, I had someone in here. I had Aaron Christie on here a couple weeks ago from Indie Roof Company, and he mentioned that he had sold 70 roofs in like 3 days. Okay, after a storm, and people literally did not believe it. Like, I had messages from people who were like, "Oh, there's no way that's possible." I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now? Like, it's totally possible. I've seen the books. I know the numbers because we get the files too, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
know that it's actually true." I mean, dude, we almost got 100, or no, I'm sorry, we almost got over 100 claims in on one day at Balance. Okay, last week. So
Nice.
the numbers are there. Like, there's nothing. You guys that don't think that the guys that don't believe that people are still selling roofs just astound me. And I know you guys are doing it. And one of the things the reasons why I think that you guys are successful is that you have streamlined your stuff. You do have all those processes in places. You have all those systems in place. And to be really straight up, like, as far as we're I grew up in a contractor's home, but my dad's a tradesman. Okay, my dad is a gifted tradesman who did a lot of commercial work, but in reality, though, my dad did it with him and a crew of guys, and he worked every day. If he didn't show up to work, I
Yeah.
remember one time he had a car accident, and I'll never forget this. I was a kid. I remember coming home. My dad was home, and I thought, why is my dad home? Like, it was weird to me
Yeah.
that my dad was home. And I was like, what's going on? And my dad's sitting there, and I don't know why, but in my head I thought he just had a car accident. And sure enough, he did. He had totaled his truck. Like, someone had destroyed it. He had to go to the hospital and like had to have surgeries and different stuff done. And um, you know, his business like almost shut down during that. And
That's
it's
crazy, man.
different, because I see what you guys are doing, like, and I look at like our business at Balance, and I look at what you're doing, what Dustin's doing, what some of these other like we had Graham on here today, what he's doing, and you guys are running like machines that just print money and produce roofs.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. This is
It's
actually
totally
going to
different.
be, I'm positive this is going to be our best month ever, 200 roofs in a month. And like I said, that's just with a storm hitting on Saturday. It's not like we've had a whole month with a storm. So hopefully we'll break that record next month. But I could absolutely go to Mexico, go to Japan, go anywhere and run the business from a computer. That's how we built it. But what's even cooler is I could probably go for a month or two, maybe even longer than that, and never talk to anybody at the company because we have such an awesome team. And that doesn't, that's not a pat on the back for me. That just talks about how good of our team is, how good our system is, how everybody works together.
Yeah. And that's a testament to the leadership, though, a lot of times. If leadership allows people to grow in that way and to take and make mistakes, I'm sure that your people have messed up, right? Like they're not always perfect.
Right.
So does streamlining mean being, allowing people and empowering them? Is that a big part of what you consider to be streamlining?
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's for a lot of guys, especially guys like your dad, man, he came up doing it and he feels like he has to do it. He has to have his hand in it. I hear that story all the time in this industry for it to be perfect. And I get that. Like one thing I had to accept about a year ago is like, and I hate saying accept because it doesn't mean that I've just laid down and said, oh, our quality is going to go down. But I understand that typically when the quantity goes up, the quality is going to go down. So we do everything we can in our power to say, hey, we're going to hire more ops people. Our processes are going to be better for quality control. Now when there's an issue, if a sales guy gets a call from a customer, hey, there's an issue. Whether it's there's some nails in the yard or you scratched a window screen or whatever it is, then they know to go to AccuLinks to tag the ops team to put QC issue as the first words in all caps. That way we know when we get the task, the ops team knows when they get the task that it's a QC issue, and then it goes on the board right there in front of their face all day long, and there's a red box when it hits 7 days, they're in deep trouble. It shouldn't move to 7 days. It should be fixed within 7 days. So just small things like that make everybody's job easier. And then beyond the training, we talked about training, them coming in, them hitting, they know what they've got to hit. We put it in order. It's pretty simplified, and it really does help us to create machines. And we've even got to the point now with the hiring process where we'll get so many applications. Man, it's crazy how many applications we get. And what we'll do is have them take a personality test before they ever come in. Now, I will say that we have two main personality types that do really well here. And then we have two that don't do so well here. And there's a couple of guys with the not so good personality types that make up for it because their work ethic is so great. But if we are interviewing somebody before and we know their personality type, it helps us so much in making a decision, because if we can see they're not very driven, they're not anxious, they're not ready to take action, and they're that bad personality type that we're not sure of, then I'm probably not going to offer them the job. You know what I mean? Now, if they're ready to go, they're ready to take action, they're excited, sometimes we'll give them a pass.
Or you'll try them out. But I've seen those tests, and I know which ones you're referring to, and I think that that's a really, really important part of the hiring process. I think it's a really overlooked part. A lot of salespeople, especially, they come into positions and they sell themselves as great sales guys, and then it turns out that, oh wait, they're really not that good.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right, man.
A lot of times, yeah, it's the personality that's the issue.
And it's cool too, as the leader, to understand those tests, because you're going to be able to understand the people better and how to relate to them, how to speak to them, communicate with them. And then beyond the training, beyond the onboard process, the hiring, we try to do a good job of simplifying their job. So anytime we have to add something to the process that appears like it's going to make their job more difficult, get one more picture, get one more piece of paperwork, I try to explain to them, hey, we're doing this for a reason, and it's really to help you and help your job go smoother and help you collect money faster so you get paid faster, or whatever it is, and help them to understand. Like, we don't run by the old, hey, just do it because we're saying do it. I came up in the Marines. I came up with the fire department. I know how that goes. So I want them to know, like at the end of the day, yes, we're going to take your feedback, but we have to do what's best for the company and what's best for you. So we need you to understand that we're all on the same team. We're not just doing it for ourselves. We're doing it for you. So a lot of what we've done, especially with AccuLinks dropping text and email now and automation, is being able to send out reminders the day of the build. So at 9 a.m. in the morning, they get a text saying, hey, your build's going on today. Make sure you stop by. Here's your checklist. Do a Facebook Live, do a Facebook story, do a QC check, talk with the homeowner, get 5 referrals, yada, 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 all these things on the checklist. And it's just a daily reminder for them to get out there, get content, brand themselves as the roofing salesman. I tell them that, man, we had a training yesterday morning, and I say this probably every month at least in a training. Brand yourself as the guy that sells roofs. That way, if 5 years from now you're not working for us, they call you.
Yeah.
Now, I maybe shoot myself in the foot. I get it, but I really want these guys to be successful, and I want them to understand the importance of doing that.
Yeah, you're right. And man, it's just all those tools are so important. I wish people would understand that that tool is what allows you to build those systems. AccuLinks, whatever these tools are, all that they are is just accountability measures.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the accountability has to be there, and that's how you can streamline and scale. Because I think they go hand in hand. You can't scale if you're not streamlined, right?
Yeah.
And that's what everybody wants to do is scale. And
no,
so
right.
you putting that stuff in their hands, no matter what, who the person is, what their personality type is, you can't just throw them out there and not have an accountability built into that.
And you can give the homeowners clarity too. You can do the same thing. And this, when we talk automation, I know a lot of contractors are probably thinking like, oh man, I don't know how to do all that stuff. I'm not tech savvy. It's literally logging into your AccuLinks and clicking like 3 buttons, deciding what you want it to do, clicking buttons and pressing go. For labor and material, we let the homeowner know based off of their email prior to the job. Hey, your material is going to be delivered on this day. Labor is going to start this day. They'll be there here at that specific time. In the email, you can tell them what's going to happen, the time frame they'll be there, what's going to happen the day of the build, all of those important details that your sales guy should have already covered. They've got paperwork on it, all those things. But again, you're just setting yourself up as the authority, as the expert, and making sure that there's proper expectations for everything that's going to happen. Because you might have a sales guy that slips up and says, yeah, they'll be there at 9 o'clock. They show up at 7 and homeboy's still sleeping. Now he's pissed. Well, guess what? An automated email going out, they know.
Yeah. And that's the kicker, though. Those automatic emails, those tools, those accountability measures, that saves you. Now, you told me a few months ago that you guys were getting ready to hire somebody internally.
Yeah, team success manager.
Did that happen?
Yeah, we did. We call her Mama Kim.
Mama Kim. So I'm guessing it's going well to have Mama Kim around.
Yeah, she's like mid-40s, obviously a lady, and her name's Kim. So we call her Mama Kim, Mama Bear. She takes care of all the guys and keeps up with them. She tracks their progress and training. So when we update training, we add questions. So we make sure they go back and watch it. So she'll get on to them and say, hey, you need to get your training done. Or we've got our 100K list. We've built out this list and spreadsheet and Google Sheets. And they have to put 50 people on there. It'll be 20 realtors, 20 insurance agents, and 10 property managers. And then they have all their contact information. And then we have 12 months set up where they contact them each month just to build and nurture that relationship. That's for every one of our guys. So she helps them set that up when they get onboarded. She follows up with that to make sure that they're actually doing it every month and building those relationships. She has the cards ordered. She has the custom papers we have made with their faces on it. Just anything custom like that, email signatures, she does. She helps a lot with the onboarding process and ongoing to ensure they're successful.
That's massive. And I know that you give your people so many tools. You just bought them new trucks. You just got, all these, you make sure that they look good, that they're representing the company good, all this stuff. Do you ever think that possibly like contractors do all those things, but because they don't implement all the stuff behind it, they think that the success is in the outwardly and they don't understand all the stuff that's behind it. That's actually what's pushing and driving the success.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I don't know that you could identify where they're going to suffer most for that, whether it's long-term or if it's just that they're going to have to personally put so much more effort into it and make everyone else work extremely hard. But probably both of those are pretty important. Like I said, for me, it's being able to free up some of my time so that I know I don't have to focus on it. Last Wednesday at 9 o'clock at night, I said, hey, you know what? I think I want to take my grandma and my aunt to Edisto Beach. And so I looked on Airbnb, I rented a place, and I called them up and said, hey, you want to go to Edisto tomorrow? And they said, yeah. So we took them, and then I ended up calling my brothers and some cousins, and we just took the whole family down there. And I could do that. I took off to the beach. The only thing I did for Cornerstone down there is a couple of Facebook Lives because we decided to sponsor like a dozen proms here in the upstate. We actually offered 19 schools, and 2 of them already have proms lined up for this summer that are going to be like parents paying for them. And we've got 12 or 13 already we've funded, and I think there's like four more in limbo that we're waiting to hear back from. But that's all I did was post and give back to the community and stay involved, and those things matter to me. Our 3 core values that we talk about all the time, and a lot of people in here probably know them because I say them almost every time I'm on camera, but they mean a lot to me, and they've helped us get to where we're going because we live by them. We're going to give the best product to the customers. We're going to give them the best customer experience, and we're going to give back to the community. Those are non-negotiables. I don't care if, another shingle manufacturer comes in and offers us 10% of the cost of what we're paying now. It's a non-negotiable. We really believe that we provide the best product on the market, so we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to give the best customer experience. That doesn't matter that our overhead is probably, like 3 times whatever the next guy's is. I know that. I know our overhead is ridiculous compared to others. But we have staff here. We have people that are willing to help. We have Mama Kim helping the guys and ensuring their success, and that means a lot to me. I'm not willing to sacrifice that. I'm not willing to sacrifice our culture to go corporate and give up our core values.
That's a massive show on what your business is really all about, and I think your customers feel that and they know that. So let me ask you this: so do you think that because you guys do all this stuff? Because I'm gonna break this down. I remember when I was 24, 25 years old, and I came back into the industry. I'd been out selling cars and was a youth pastor for a while, and so I come back in. And I remember going to work for this company, and they gave me a set of magnets, a stack of contracts, and that was, maybe some shingle. Maybe they told me to go to the supply house and pick up some shingle samples and said, go sell some roofs, essentially. Okay.
Right.
There was no training, nothing behind it. They said, we'll pay you. I think I was getting 10, and I think I was at 60-40. This company was paying 60% of the profit to the salesperson, and they were keeping 40. So they're doing it the old school way. And There was basically being an independent contractor. You don't really work. You do work with us, but you don't work for us. So, do your own thing. And that's how everyone there was. And everyone had their own little businesses essentially within the business. And so they didn't provide us with any training. They didn't do anything. I think I may have gotten a t-shirt with a logo on it. Okay. So do you think that's kind of the mentality of the contractor still in the there's still a lot of them that are doing this. Do you think that a lot of times that's kind of hey, I trust these people because it's their livelihood, and basically it's sink or swim. You either make it or you don't. And then they're really missing out on opportunities because they're doing it that way, as far as, building people and building, other than just, you may get a handful of people that can do that, and they'll do really well, but you can't, do you think that that's really what's holding those companies back?
Yeah, man. There's probably, I'm not here to knock anybody. There's probably guys that do really, really good with that model and just say, hey, kind of run your own company. And we kind of pitch Cornerstone as that. You come in, you're 1099. We don't do W-2. You're 1099. We want you to kind of run it like your own company. We're not going to be super strict on when you have to go out, when you have to work. We want there to be that freedom. I'm big, big, big on helping people control their own income. So for me, it's just the transparency and hey, there's got to be some sort of structure. And especially with us investing so much into the team, the training that we provide, the trips that we do, the marketing material we do, the marketing that we put out, branding in terms of the wraps on the trucks, the mailers, the Facebook ads, Google AdWords, local services, just everything, man. And it all counts up, and we spend money on that. So it has to be counted back in there somehow. And I'm transparent with the guys. Like if they ever question that, they're welcome to look at the books. We have nothing to hide, and they all get that. So for us, like we're not interested in just, hey, let's bring in 20 guys because a storm hit and try to sell a ton of roofs. We want to make sure that we have guys out there filing legitimate claims. We just had an adjuster in here a couple weeks ago that came in to work with the guys and just make sure that they know how to measure a roof properly, make sure that they know what they're looking at when they're on the roof for some of our new guys. And when everything was finished, our ops manager just said, hey, Joe, just wanted to make sure, we've got some new guys here, make sure that they're filing legitimate claims. We don't want you to think that we're calling in BS and wasting your time or wasting our time. We're pretty strict on the guys about that. Like more so, like just as much, we don't want them to waste their time as we don't want the homeowners filing illegitimate claims, right? Like I don't want them wasting their time or the homeowner's time. So he said, he told Albert, like, yeah, man, you guys are fine, but there's a couple companies that just call in any roof they can get on. And we're not interested in that. So we bring them in, we train them hard. I mean, they have freaking, man, I couldn't even tell you how many hours of training to watch. But we do allow them to get out in the field, because going back to the fire department and the Marine Corps, I remember doing all that freaking online training crap, but you really learn in the field. So we want them to get out there and knock doors and get on roofs and spend time with the vets and actually learn hands-on.
Yeah, that's part of it, learning hands-on and getting all that hands-on experience. And I think having that adjuster in there, that's a good perspective to have in your business, and to have that guy come in and talk a little bit about what he's going through, because a lot of most contractors have no clue what adjusters are thinking.
Yeah,
and they think that adjusters are. I almost feel like they think that adjusters get paid more to deny claims or underpay claims, and I'm like, listen, man, I was an adjuster. That's not the case. Yeah. Actually get paid a lot more when you pay for not looking for reasons to not buy roofs. So it's interesting where the mentality comes from. But I appreciate you doing that, because I think that shows like that's a whole new perspective, and for most contractors they would never think to do that.
We do that with our ops guys. Like they have to spend time with the ops team. They have to spend time with our CFO. I want them to understand office, ops, and sales, because they need that perspective, so that when something's going wrong on the ops side or something is going wrong in the office with collections, that they're not just pissed off like, hey, I did my job, I need you to do yours. Well, you've got to understand that sometimes there's hiccups and they're working through it, and there's things that you can do to possibly help them. So I think that's important, because at the end of the day, they're in a team of sales and a team of the office and a team of ops guys. Like we're all one team and we're working for a goal.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. All right, one more question, Hunter, that I want to ask, and this has to do with COVID. Because I put that in the title. I put that in the description today.
If you had a kid right now, would you consider naming your daughter Covey, Rona, something like that?
Call her Rona.
I like Rona. I might get a dog just to name it Rona and remember this for a while.
Wasn't it Seinfeld that like George wanted to name his son 7? Maybe I would name my kid 19.
I don't know. No clue.
Yeah, I don't know if I could ever do that. So, but you never know. I'm sure there will be plenty of Ronas running around here soon. So, but okay. So in the middle of all this,
bro, just real quick, like I just want to show you this. Everybody making excuses out there. This is just, they won't stop coming in, man. They're just selling roofs. Them boys are on fire. They're just selling roofs.
That's awesome though. And so that goes to show this is possible to do in the middle of a pandemic where people are shut down. The economy is gone down. Now, thankfully, stocks are coming back. Things are starting to open up. We're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But man, 3 weeks ago, when I remember driving out, leaving my house and going to the office like 3 weeks ago, and there were like, I passed like maybe 6 cars, and you know where I live. Like Indianapolis is not like, it's not like a small city. Like it's a metropolis, Today I drove to work and there were cars all over the place. I almost had traffic this morning. And so, it's starting to come back to life. But what things have contractors missed in the middle of all this?
Opportunity. I mean, we've already hit on it a lot. Opportunity. We've been saying that since day one, man. When I came up there in March, what was that, like mid-March when I came to Indy?
Yeah, it was like
I think like
the
March
15th,
15th
16th,
or
something like
something.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, we announced RoofCon, announced the dates, opened up ticket sales and everything. We're starting to sell tickets, starting to sell vendors, all that good stuff. We said from the beginning, this is going to be an opportunity to separate
Yeah.
yourself from the pack.
Yep.
Turn devastation into opportunity. And that's really the main thing that I can think of
I
is if
remember, Hunter,
we,
we went to Texas Roadhouse the
oh
last
man,
day
I
we
love
could
it.
eat out.
I love it. Thank goodness I had it. I actually had it in Charleston when I went down to check on our branch down there, and everybody's making fun of me. We had like 8 guys, and I got 36 rolls. I probably had like 6 or 7. But no, man, really opportunity. Like even at this point, if you feel like things are still going to be slow for you for a little while, you got to get back in the groove. We know for a fact that we're going to have people that you've been building in the last couple of months who don't pay that back end check. I know you don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to look at my AR 3 months from now and see how many people are trying to stiff us in a lot that are over 90. But you know it's going to happen, no matter how solid your processes are. I mean, we're already trying to get ahead of that, but work on getting ahead of that now. Stay in touch with those homeowners. Make them feel like family so they feel like they can't stiff you on that money. I mean, I can't stress that enough. I'm serious. Like people, it's a mini depression. It's going to be a mini depression. You got so many people out of work right now.
Oh
For the
yeah.
first time in years, we've been doing so great, but you're going to have people that need that money, and they're going to think, well, do I? And you can't like. I know the instinct is going to be mad at them, and of course, I'm going to be a little upset too. But if it was you and you had $3,200 to feed your family, or $3,200 to pay this roofing company that you've already paid $8,000,
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So stay close to your clients that owe you money. Maybe have lien paperwork ready, but other than that, just use this as an opportunity.
You can usually get a feeling about it. You can tell like this is coming. Like
And
this is
that's a meeting to have with your sales guys. Say, hey, don't. One thing I'd say is like, don't even tell them like, hey, make a list. Just set aside some time, 2 hours, and say, hey, we're going to go through and make a list of make sure they're in an office and actually doing it. We're trying to get ahead of it because we want to make sure that we don't get screwed out of $250,000, $500,000, whatever it could be.
Diego Dante commented and said yeah. Diego Dante commented said I've sold more roofs than I have in the past with COVID-19 going on. Crushing it, right? That's the way. That's what I'm hearing from a lot of people, and then I'm also hearing the flip side of it. It's either you're crushing it and you're just doing insane, or you're freaking out right now and you don't know what's going on, and there's like these two drastic extremes.
Yeah.
And it's funny watching it here at our office because we have, even amongst our team here, there's like two drastic extremes where there's like one side of it that's just like, oh my gosh, we're all gonna die, and then there's the other side of it that they're like, dude, like we're gonna do so much revenue in this time, like we're gonna have so much business because this industry just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to watch it. So I'm excited, dude. I think it's awesome. I know we're gonna give some stuff away here in a minute, right?
Yeah, man. I don't know who. I think Brandon Brawley won last week. He said Charleston for the first big storm, and it was Greenville, South Carolina, which, again, it wasn't a huge storm. There really wasn't much damage. But above anything, and let's hit on this real quick. I've only been in the game a few years. There's a lot of experienced guys out there that I love to learn from. But something I've seen in just a couple of years I've been doing this is it doesn't always have to be 3-inch hail. Right? Like you don't even necessarily need a ton of damage. You need a date and you need awareness for homeowners and a little bit of motivation for your guys. Those three things, that combination right there are huge because we have plenty of houses now that have old damage from old storms that didn't get replaced. And now we have a new date. We have homeowners who were at home because of coronavirus who are like, well, I know I got hail. So if our guys go out there and take pictures and show that to them and build that report, well, now they can see that, they believe that, they're signing. And then third is our guys are pumped up because they know we just got a storm.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And that's cool to see. So I'm excited. There's storms happening. John Choquette was on. I think Hail Trace is live right now talking about big storms. We got to do Revolt tonight, which what is Revolt? People want to ask about Revolt.
RoofCON Revolt. So high level mastermind for roofers really are the best people for Revolt are roofing companies with at least 5 salespeople. We help you in all areas of business. We dig deep. It's not just like, hey, here's a little training course. Like we said, 3 pieces: training, relationships, accountability. So not only do you get more access to guys like John and Troy Clymer and Joe Hughes and Dale Childress, they're going to be hands-on with you and actually help you inside the group, and not just do something like this that's like, hey, here's some training stuff. We're going to get practical of action steps you can take and answer your one-on-one questions when you ask questions that you have about your specific business, because your area may be different than my area. And if I can't answer your question, if John can't answer your question, well, guess what? With the other contractors in there, they're able to help as well. There's just as much value in that as there is the industry experts. And then we do a couple of retreats every year. You get tickets to RoofCON. It's a lot of fun stuff. So love to chat with you if you're interested in joining Revolt.
We're doing a Revolt session after this, which is super fun, and it's so much fun to have that small group, experience where we get to really answer questions. Diego said one more thing here. He said he struggled for 2 weeks, and then Stephen Bishop convinced him that it was all in his mentality, and he sold 10 roofs, 10 in 9 days.
Sweet, man. That's awesome, brother.
I know. That's what I like to hear, man. That people are taking what could be a negative and flipping it around to a positive. And we heard that today too with Sean Meredith and what they're doing. Like, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, that is, man. Fighting through
Dude,
it.
I'm excited about Revolt. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, me too. Look forward to
it's going to,
in there.
Yeah, we're going to, that's like the thing that I think contractors need to be a part of. Cause I feel like it's an accountability. It's a family. It's like, it's a group of people that are like-minded and are all pushing each other to become better. And, all the knowledge that's in there is insane. It's like combining the brain power of like the top roofers and just like doing something crazy.
It's exciting, man. Tonight we're actually just diving in on one of the guys' businesses, Kyle Glenn out of Atlanta, and we're just going to get real with him on a Zoom call and break it down and say, hey, this is how we can help you get to that next level.
Awesome, dude. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man.
I am definitely looking forward to it. So, got anything else today, or we probably should wrap this up and get ready. So we're giving a shirt away to.
I think it's Brandon. Yeah, I'll check the message if anyone got closer, but I know the last time I checked it was Brandon Brawley. So appreciate you guys hopping on. Excited to talk to you next week.
Sounds good. We'll see everyone next week. Have a great night, and have a great week. Later.